Okay, so we are now in a copy of the Airtable base that our group has been working on for the past few months. So at the top here, you can see that we have different tables, and each table is in a cell-like format, similar to how it would look on Microsoft Excel. And then what we can do here is on the left side, when we're in grid view, we can create our own custom grids for each table that we can switch back and forth between. So let's do that right here. Um, in this view, let's say we only want to see the employee and we want to see what their pay rates are for standard, overtime, and double time. And then maybe we also want to look at the primary role that they serve in the company. So now we only have these fields shown to us and we can move them around however which way we'd like. And then we could also switch in between different views. So now we have these two. There's also this view here, which is sorted by a specific field and it's filtered by the active field. And then there's also a whole bunch of different other fields hidden. Next, I'm going to take you to interfaces and we'll just launch the interface right here. And then let's go to PIE overview. We can see different statistics within the company. We can see the amount of jobs that they have active currently. We can also see percentage by job count for customers. So we can see if we hover over this piece over here, we can see that Rio Tinto has 14 active jobs uh, through PIE currently. And then we could also see purchase order totals over here on this side. And then we also have some other budget information here on the bottom. And then we could also look at invoicing. We could see here with these pie charts, we could see that Hexcel, for example, owes PIE 30.3% of this unpaid total up here at the top. So the company can track which customers owes a certain amount of money. And then next, I'm going to take us here to the Pi POs. And we can see that within interfaces, we can have form buttons attached at the top. So if I click this one, for example, it's going to take us to a form from fillout.com for a new vendor invoice entry. Um, within fillout, I'll show you this form here that we have, new job, and uh, I'll show one nuance that fillout allows. So for example, on a new job, down here we have T&M dates, and we can, under logic, we can conditionally show or hide this block within the form. So for this form, for example, we're going to conditionally show it when full name contains Rio Tinto and there's a record ID attached that is not empty. And then when these two conditions are met up here and down here, then this block is going to show, and then these two blocks are also going to show, and these blocks are required to have information within them in order to submit the form. Now I'm going to go back to our data here, and the last thing I'm going to show is the automations. We have a whole ton of automations here on the left that we've set up through Airtable. Um, they're all currently off because I am in a copy of our Airtable base right now. But if we take a look at this automation, we can see that there's a trigger, and this trigger is going to set off when all four of these conditions are met here on the right. And then when these four conditions are met, it's going to check these three different conditions down here. So if a start date on a record is empty, it's going to send an email to Brent and Clayton at p-i-e.biz. And then the email contents are right down here. And then the email contents can change dynamically depending on what the information here within the table is. And then we have two other examples within this automation. And then maybe let's click this automation. We can see here we can also have automations to set up dynamically in terms of, so this one, within the next 14 days, if a job status is active and the end date is within the next 14 days, It's going to send an email to the timekeeper within the company, and it's going to have this information in here. And then she will be able to notify Clayton or Brent and tell them, hey, a job is set to expire in 14 days. Where are we at with this? And for now, that is all I have to show for you guys. Thank you.